What if the most powerful forces shaping the global economy weren't the ones we see on television or read about in the headlines? What if, behind the scenes, decisions are made in silence, by people whose names we may never know? Imagine a world where these forces never appeared on stock tickers, never gave interviews, and never sought the spotlight. Their influence is felt, but their presence is invisible, hidden in the background of every major financial move. They never sign documents in public view, preferring instead to leave no trace. Their agreements are sealed with a handshake, a nod, or a coded message, far from the eyes of regulators and the public. What if trillions of dollars crossed borders not because of elections or public policy, but because of private conversations in quiet rooms, on midnight flights, or in encrypted messages? We're told that markets are transparent, rational, and predictable. We're taught to believe that anyone can participate and that the rules are the same for all. So then why do crashes arrive without warning, wiping out fortunes overnight, while recoveries seem to benefit the same select few every single time? Who truly profits from the chaos? Tonight we look beyond borders and official narratives, into the hidden networks, secret alliances, and silent agreements that may influence international finance more than we ever imagined. Long before Wall Street ever cast its shadow over the world's finances, before the rise of central banks and the skyscrapers of modern commerce, the seeds of global finance were already being sown in the shadows of history. In a time when kingdoms rose and fell, and the fate of empires was decided by gold, power, and trust, a new force quietly emerged. That force was the Knights Templar. Officially, they were warrior monks, sworn to poverty, chastity, and obedience, defending pilgrims on their way to the Holy Land. But unofficially, they became the architects of one of the world's first international banking systems, operating with a sophistication that would rival any modern institution. Pilgrims, fearful of bandits and loss, deposited their gold and valuables with the Templars in Europe. And then, using ingeniously coded letters of credit, they could withdraw their wealth thousands of miles away, safe from danger, in distant lands. No heavy coins to carry, no vulnerable caravans to guard, just trust, carefully built, and secrecy maintained at all costs. Does that sound familiar in today's world of digital transactions and encrypted accounts? As their influence grew, even kings and rulers found themselves indebted to the Templars. Their financial power became so great it threatened the very monarchs they once served. And so, in a dramatic turn of history, the order was accused, betrayed, and ultimately destroyed. At least, that's what the official records claim. But history is rarely so simple. Behind closed doors, secrets linger, and the true legacy of the Templars may be more enduring than we think. What truly matters isn't whether the Templars survived as an order, but the precedent they set for the centuries that followed. Because if history teaches us anything, it's this. The combination of exclusive knowledge and private networks has always been the engine behind financial power. From the Templars to today's financial elites, those who control information and access shape the world in ways most never see. From Renaissance alchemists, to early fraternities, to modern elite clubs, a pattern repeats. Small groups, shared ideology, protected access, not magic, not mysticism, coordination. When information travels faster inside closed circles, markets stop being level playing fields. And that idea, that power concentrates quietly, sets the stage for everything that follows. Mention the Illuminati, and people stop listening. But remove the mythology, and focus on the concepts often associated with it. Centralized influence, control of narratives, institutional alignment. Now ask yourself, do those forces exist today? Financial media shapes sentiment. Sentiment moves markets. Markets influence governments. This isn't conspiracy. It's structure. When information funnels through a few powerful nodes, outcomes stop being random. Today, most trades aren't made by humans. They're executed by algorithms, operating at speeds no human can observe. Millions of trades per second. No explanation, no accountability. Markets rise, markets crash, and really, no one steps forward. When systems become too complex to understand, trust disappears, and speculation fills the void. Not because people are foolish, but because opacity invites suspicion. Once a year, political leaders, central bankers, tech executives, and financial giants meet in private. No cameras, no transcripts. Groups like Bilderberg, Davos, and similar forums defend this as open discussion. But discussion among who? When the same people control capital, policy, and technology, alignment doesn't require secret votes, just shared interests. This is called network power, and it's one of the most underestimated forces in global finance. Cryptocurrency promised decentralization, no banks, no gatekeepers. But look closer. A small number of wallets hold enormous influence. Mining power concentrates. Developers steer protocols. Even DAOs, supposedly democratic systems, often fall under control of a few large stakeholders. Power doesn't vanish. It migrates. Here's the truth. You don't need secret societies to create hidden influence. All it takes is complexity, layers of offshore finance, intricate webs of opaque derivatives, and private trading venues that operate in the shadows. These aren't just tools for the elite, they're barriers that keep most people out, making it nearly impossible to see who's really pulling the strings. The more complicated the system, the easier it is to hide power in plain sight. Most power today hides not in secrecy, but in systems too complicated to question. It's not about conjuring fear or paranoia. It's about cultivating awareness, about learning to see the invisible architecture that shapes our world. Follow the incentives that drive decisions. Question the narratives you're told. Take the time to understand the structures that quietly direct the flow of money and influence. Because the most powerful forces shaping your future rarely ask for your attention. They prefer to work behind the scenes, quietly steering outcomes while you're focused elsewhere. Their influence is subtle, but its impact is profound. The real question isn't who controls the world. It's not about finding a single puppet master, but about understanding the networks and systems that quietly shape our lives. The real question is, who benefits from you not looking? Stay vigilant. Stay curious. Because awareness is the first step toward reclaiming your power.